Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah rahmanir rahim. Welcome to the JEV Oli Show, episode 2. We're going to be discussing and introducing angels and jinn kind and how to pray to Allah wa ta'ala for protection. So we'll also be discussing the meaning behind many of the dhikr introduced in the previous episode, as many requested. So we'll also welcome to the show our first guest, who is non-Muslim but is on a personal growth journey. An exciting one to the straight path, and inshallah, maybe there is a reversion on the horizon. Who knows? Charlie and I met about a week and a half ago, just at our local gym, and we got talking for roughly an hour, actually. And but I'll introduce him more in a sec. We've got our co-host, as usual, Jabbar Istandachi.
Salaam.
So hello, my friend. Sorry, cut you off. And anyway, he's not going to say that. So the format is slightly a bit different today. We've got a video chat online, so hopefully this will work out. It's struggling at first, but it's also going to be the first interview style podcast. Quick one for the show rules. So number 1, no boasting for the point of vanity. Number 2, no insulting or backbiting for the point of bringing others down. And number 3 is honesty, which is extremely important. We're going to give context as long as it's not any slander intended to shame others. We're not here to judge. And anything haram or negative needs to have an associated lesson and must have some sort of reflection. What did we learn from this? What positive came from it? That sort of thing. Next, our disclaimer, we're not authorities on the Qur'an, so just want to say anything we do say is just opinion-based. Unless, of course, we quote the Qur'an, which we will, again, try and put in any verses and surah. So, Charlie, without further ado, I'd like you to, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how old you are, and, what's your journey been like over the past 5 years?
First of all, I would like to thanks Oli and Javar for inviting me to the podcast. Very happy to be here to share some of my journey or story in this podcast. Very exciting to be here. My full name is actually Charlie Leong. I'm Malaysian Chinese, and I am 23 years old, and I work as a pressure cleaning services and window cleaning services. That's what I do.
Hello.
And I come to Australia pretty much 5 years ago when I was 18. Not 18 actually, 17. After I finished my college. So the reason why I came here, it is a long story, but long story short is because I do not know what to do in my life after finish my high school, and I always don't like to go college, and I don't know what I actually want to do. And one of my father's friends, he was planning to going to Perth, working and holidaying. That's what he told me. And then that got me excited. I'd be like, why not go to somewhere different and explore a little bit to maybe find myself? That's my goal when I decide to come here. And my mom is actually very cool about it. And we were just talking about going to Perth in a car. And then when I got home, I talked to my mom straight away, can I go to Perth? My mom's like, okay. I mean, like, you're still young. Go ahead and see the world. I'm like, okay. My mom is so cool. And then that's how I got, And so when I'm in Perth, basically what I do strawberry picking, a farm job. I go to farm and pick fruits, this kind of stuff. I would say that's the most hardest job ever. Strawberry picking. You literally have to knee down during winter, knee down onto the soil and pick one by one. And with a tray, there's like a car, and you can put like 12 tray. and that's the most difficult job ever that I have ever done, to be honest. And your
Yeah.
knees get so pain and cold. Wow. And one thing I want to say, farmer actually works very hard. So whenever you see those
Sure.
products which is on the table, you need to realize that actually that has actually gone through so much work to get onto your table. Like
SubhanAllah.
literally.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So like I respect all the farmer and respect all the people that worked very hard. And as especially people that pick strawberry.
Man, I've never done that sort of job. So, like, really kudos to you. It's I know some people who have done a lot of fruit picking. So, I live with a bunch of backpackers who would go on seasonal fruit picking. Um, so I know it's hard work, but you know, if you work hard, you can make decent money as well, from what I hear.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Literally every farm, there's like this guy like, oh, he picked the most fruit today. He earned like this,
Yeah.
which is actually quite fun to know that.
Yeah.
Especially
So,
if you're doing very well in a certain, even you are just throwing garbage or thing like this. If you do your best, if you really do your
mhm.
best, you will get known and respect by people. That's
Yeah,
what
I think that's
that's
always
similar
true.
to strawberry picking.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it matters what you do if you do your best. I mean, yeah, in almost every situation. I mean, yeah. I'll ask you some questions actually. I was a bit curious. You said you weren't sure what you wanted to do in the future. Did you currently? We went over this at the gym. Did you have any spiritual beliefs at the moment? Where were you at? Would you say spiritually? Is your family religious?
Oh, my family is extremely religious. I was born vegetarian, and because my family become vegan actually, it's because
It's Buddhist,
religious
no?
belief. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism. So my mom is an extremely religious person, and she pray every day. We literally pray every day.
Yeah.
But after I come to Australia, I pretty much didn't. And I go to the
Interesting.
and in my childhood, I always every week we go to
Yeah.
temple every
Yeah.
week, and
Yeah.
yeah, go there and pray. And you got this kind of they have this kind of classes for kids,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they teaches you literally moral, how to become a
Yeah.
good person, respect, this kind of stuff, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. Which is something
Yeah.
that's lacking in society, I believe.
I think so. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%. I think something I noticed is that there's a lot of rhetoric. So a lot of the narrative online is, or the messaging is that if you behave like a good person, or if you take care of others, or you behave in a moral way, that you will get nowhere in life. This is what I think the message is. They teach you nice people get stepped on, and I think that's not true at all. I think that that's actually a lie. I think truth prevails. Therefore, only bad people prevail. They only succeed for a short period of time, and then eventually the truth comes out, and you know what sort of person they are really is exposed.
And it really
So
depends on what you base succeeding on. Materialistic things, if you know what I mean.
yeah, that's true. 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 So what would you say? Uh, I'm curious. What are your thoughts on? Because as a Buddhist, like you're saying maybe not practicing at the moment, but would you say you believe in a God?
Yeah, I believe God
Yeah.
exists,
But
and I'm still trying to find it. I'm on my way to. I'm not deliberately searching it, but my belief is for me religion. Even you are Buddhism, you are Hindu, you are Islam, you are Jewish or what. I believe
Yeah.
there's only two religions. Either you are good or bad.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I believe. And if you're a good person going to the world, you will spread the positive energy, do good to the world, do charity, this kind of stuff.
But
And
what if
if you're
some of us are good, some of us are good and bad. Some of us have like done bad things and then we've become good. And some of us have been good, maybe growing up, and then become bad when we're older. So I think there's something in Islam that says don't claim yourself to be pure. It's a verse. It says don't claim purity. And I think that we all have impurity in us at some stage, it's perhaps not directly from us. So I think that perhaps it could have to do with that unseen circumstances, like perhaps Jinn, or perhaps it is in our nature. I don't know. What do you think, Jared?
When it comes down to stuff like that, you can do good with the wrong intentions. For me, it all matters about your intentions, because you could be wanting to help someone out, but your intentions are to help them out so you can use them in the future. So even if you're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
When it
yeah.
comes to
True.
any of them,
It's really
like it really
true.
doesn't matter about the actions so much. It matters about your intention and what you're trying to get out of it.
Subhanallah.
But sometimes it's good to just you don't feel like doing it, but you're doing it for the sake of God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when you're going out of your way to do stuff like that. But if you're doing it just to get a materialistic thing off someone, or just to feel good
Yeah.
about yourself and get praise from other people, that's when I sort of look into it differently.
you mentioned that your the intention behind it is actually very crucial. The intention behind
It's
it.
the main part.
Yeah, you are right.
Right, thank you for that. You nailed it. I just, one thing I thought was really exciting that Charlie's been doing, we connected on our love of endurance sports, actually, I think, of running and doing difficult things. So, doing challenging endeavors. Yeah, like we realize that real pleasure is found in attempting the difficult rather than seeking out pleasure for the sake of, the hit of dopamine or whatever that might be. Do you want to tell them about like what you're doing in your fitness endeavors, Charlie?
Well, let's talk about happiness. So I look at happiness at two different things. One is external happiness. One is internal happiness. What is external happiness? You can take drugs and be happy. You can drink alcohol and be happy. You can go to cinema, watch a movie and be happy. That is happiness. That is considered happiness for some people. For my happiness is different. And I used to chase external happiness because I didn't find the internal happiness from myself. So what is internal happiness? Internal happiness is actually doing the things that you actually will grow you, doing the things that you benefit your life to move forward. I'm big on self-improvement and growth, and also it depends on what your value is. And for me, my happiness comes from after the day ends. When I look into the mirror, I know that day I actually work hard. That is my happiness.
That's a great way to put it. External happiness. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I guess you go.
And I don't think that I chase happiness. I chase growth instead of happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's interesting. We could go into a whole conversation about that because, like, I think we discussed last episode. There's something massive in Islam.
Yeah, I was gonna say one thing about the happiness. Like, the so-called happiness is just a chemical reaction in your brain, like dopamine, and you can get that from anything, good or bad. But instead of chasing happiness, chasing fulfillment. Even if it didn't make you happy, at least you feel fulfilled, like you've done something good that's gonna benefit you. You know what I mean?
I think
You're
that's what
gonna
Charlie's saying about looking in the mirror at the end of the day. Is like
100%.
going, yeah, like I feel like this was I did myself justice today.
Yep, you did what you had to do,
Yes. Yeah.
no matter what. I agree with that 100%.
Where are we at? We're at about 1740. So we go just to quickly sum it up. I just wanted to see what sort of goals you had over the next few years. Have you set out some goals for yourself, Charlie, or anything that you want to achieve in the next, 5 to 10 years or
To
longer?
be honest, my goal is my goal. I don't actually have a this year. To be honest, I haven't set a very clear goal, but I do. I didn't write it down what I want this year. I haven't write it yet, but inside my brain, I know what I actually want. I break this into three things. I believe, man, you have to work on these three things. And these are the goals that I strive for. One is, first is, I would say, mentally. Second is, financially. Thirdly is physically. So these are the three things that I actually aim and strive for when I setting my goals. So my mindset, my goal is to do like difficult stuff at maybe like every week, like or every day. Let's say I would,
David?
yeah, like let's say I would do like Russian twist every day, 200
Correct.
reps. Or right now
Yeah.
I'm doing like the skipping rope. I would do like 1,000 reps every day. I think this will build my mindset because you just consistently doing the same boring thing.
Yeah.
I don't, because I learned all of this from some of the motivation, not motivation kind of thing. Like from David Goggins, this the guy that I follow, and I
Yeah.
just want to do boring things because my mind used to, just chasing dopamine because I born in the 2000. I was born in technology age. But anyway, mentally, this is what I strive for.
True.
And meditating, make sure your mind is peaceful,
Yep.
and read books to improve your mind, improve your
SubhanAllah.
knowledge. Right? This
Read Qur'an.
Inshallah.
physically is very
Yeah, yeah.
simple. It's just stay healthy, eat healthy, and get jacked. You know.
Yeah. No,
And
100%. I agree with all of that. I would
yeah,
definitely just add that, like, and you're right, there's the spiritual element of which is more or less mental as well. But I think spiritual encompasses all of that. So, because, yeah, you
You need
need
to be
to,
physically to be
yeah,
healthy mentally.
yes, 100% you do. Yeah,
You
they
gotta
are
feed the right
mutually
nutrients to your
exclusive.
brain. Healthy gut, healthy mind.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we'll just move on because we're just to move on to the next section. Anyone can jump in. So I'd say people these days have a fascination with the unseen. So seems like everyone's interested in like, spirits, etc. these days. And I was Charlie before the call, and saying how Islam was the first place I found a logical explanation to these unseen forces. So I personally saw quite a few people I knew who were battling the forces of Jinn kind, some of them as allies, which I was completely naive to at the time. We all get assigned a Jinn and an angel at birth, and no, these aren't metaphorical creatures like other faiths will teach. They're actually real entities created by Allah, what the Allah. So those times when you feel unexplainable negativity or even positivity, they come from your jinn and angels respectively. So jinn, angels, and humans. So jinn are created, they're a smokeless flame, and angels are created out of light. So the literal meaning of jinn is to hide and conceal. The word jinn came from the word Jannah, or not the Jannah like heaven, but Jannah, the Arabic word. So the angels were created from light and the jinn from smokeless fire, which this is from the Hadith Sahih Muslim. And then we have an excerpt from the Qur'an, which is from 55:15. Jinn are also asked to worship Allah as humans do. So jinn worship Jinn are worshipping Allah, like us.
Free will.
Yeah, their purpose of life is not very different from humans, as they are ordered by Allah and to do the same good deeds as humans do, and they are supposed to obey and worship one and only God, Allah. Like in humans, there are two broader categories, Muslims and non-Muslims. Similarly, in Jinn, there are the same two main divisions, the Muslims and non-Muslims. So, Surah Al-Dath, I'm not even going to pronounce that because I get it wrong. More or less, Surah 51, verse 56, it says, "And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me." So both of these are showing that jinn worship Allah, and some of them choose not to. And these would be the ones that are causing a lot of the negativity that a lot of people are choosing to worship towards in place of God. So people who are worshipping Satan and other idols, etc., are effectively directing their worship towards these spirits. And it's why you see spirits all through media, all through the entertainment industry, all through history, all through, any sort of child's tale and that sort of thing. They're just littered through everything, and they're just out of plain sight, hidden. So, what are they? The lives of jinn are very similar to humans. They eat, they drink, they marry, they have children, and they're even instructed and guided the same way as humans. We can clearly understand this statement by the following verse from Surah 6, verse 130. "O company of jinn and mankind, did there not come to you messengers from among you, relating to you my verses and warning you of the meeting of this day of yours? They will say, we bear witness against ourselves, and the worldly life had deluded them. And they will bear witness against themselves that they were disbelievers." So these are the likes of Satan, right? Which many seem to direct improperly, stuff their worship. Now, the enemies of our enemies, essentially. So Surah 7, verse 27, it says, "O children of Adam, let not Satan tempt you as he removed your parents from paradise, stripping them of their clothing to show them their private parts. Indeed, he sees you, he and his tribe, from where you do not see him. Indeed, we have made the devil's allies to those who do not believe." So, many are allied with these devils, and they are not to be confused as our friends, even to those who disbelieve. Some are Muslims, but still shouldn't be contacted. And there is one more verse I will recite, which is from Surah 72. "It has been revealed to me that a group of jinn listened and said, indeed, we have heard an amazing Qur'an. It guides to the right course, and we have believed in it, and we will never associate with our Lord anyone." So, as you can see, there are jinn who do worship Allah, but I don't think it's, well, you can speak in on this, Jeff. We're not meant to contact jinn anyway, even the good one.
You don't know if you're contacting a good one. They could feed you false information.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
if you make deals with them, they're always going to want something in return, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because they're going to see themselves as superior. And I was just going to add as well, the one jinn that we're like assigned at birth, it's called the Karin or something like that. And that's the one that whispers, bad thoughts into your head and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's the only one. Look, correct me if I'm wrong, but even during Ramadan, he is locked up as well.
Is he? Did you double check that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And the thing is as well, I heard that, when we die, he could be assigned to someone else. He could be, you know what I mean? Not 100%. And for women, it's a girl jinn, and for men, it's a boy jinn. But
interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that at all. One more thing I thought, which was really interesting, is alcohol. The alcohol, literally, the classification of hard alcohol is called spirits, and then another name for a type of spirit is called jinn. Funny. And then we look at wine. Anyway, there's some food for thought within there. I wonder why that etymology exists, and I suspect it doesn't have anything to do with the thousands of years of polytheistic worship that's been going on throughout all of history, but I dare say it does. Anyway.
All these powerful people contact Jinns, and that's how they get their
Oh,
favors done.
exactly, bro. I mean, exactly.
They do
So,
the Jinns work through all of their social medias and stuff, all their
yeah.
actions.
What does Buddhism say about your opinion, or what's your personal opinion on spirits, Charlie?
Spirits.
Yeah, like things the unseen. Do you think that there's like, do you think only the physical world exists, or do you think that there's like, let's go as far perhaps to say ghosts or that sort of thing? You think they exist?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, for me, I don't have an answer because I haven't seen them yet. So, yeah, probably. I'm not saying I don't believe it because I know everything can happen. And this kind of stuff is people are talking about every day. Maybe it exists, maybe it don't. For me, I don't know because I haven't seen it yet.
I think that's fair. I was saying to Charlie in before the show that when I was in so my way back when things were really tough for me around say 2018, a friend came up to me in I think it was 2019, and she said to me, she goes, "You do know that you've like maybe what were her words? She goes, you probably dated some witches, Ollie," and was like, hint. And I started thinking about it, and then everything sort of started to make sense about some individuals who have been like part of my life, and it really, that was where I started to wonder, like, is there something a little bit more fishy going on around just in life in general, in terms of people's like faith in outside of like regular religion and that sort of thing. This was like very early on in my journey to God and to prayer, but it was definitely something that I thought about a lot. Did you want to move on? There's one thing I wanted to say, is a tip for people when they are getting invasive voices, a loud mind, or just feel bogged down by negativity. Chances are you have Jinn or some form of Satan around you. So what I use, and you're encouraged to use twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, is a prayer to Allah wa ta'ala. And I can break it down in English. And this is, you can tell me if this is, what do you reckon, Jay? But I go, Bismillah, I seek refuge from the evil whisperer, from devils even entering my presence. And I say this 3 times. I go, Bismillah, I seek refuge from the evil whisperer, from devils even entering my presence. And saying with intention, Bismillah, I seek refuge from the evil whisperer, from devils even entering my presence. And honestly, every single time I say it 3 times, mate, I can go on and I can start focusing on my work, I can start focusing on my study, I can go on, and it's almost like a weight is like lifted off my shoulders. It's bizarre. Anyway, subhanAllah. Did you want to talk about dhikr, or did you want to chat about that, Jam, or anyone have
I
any
was just going to add a little bit to it. Always mention Allah in all parts of the day, no matter what happens, the good, the bad, because it was meant to happen.
Alhamdulillah. That's it.
And
Charlie?
yeah, I was gonna say as well, it's good to say it in Arabic, but if you don't know how to say it in Arabic or know the
That
proper
one's
meaning
hard in
of what
Arabic,
you're
bro.
saying,
That one isn't
yeah,
easy.
if you don't know what it means in English, you know what I mean, when you say it in Arabic, if you're just saying it in Arabic but you don't know what it really means, yes, read it in English. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once because it means something different. I don't know, it just has a heavier thing in Arabic, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. No. Of course. Yeah, once I can get that one in Arabic, I will. Did you want to go on to dhikr now before we, so we don't run over time? Have you got?
I just want to explain some common phrases that we use. I just want to let people know, so when they do hear them, they know what's up, and they know what's happening. So, yeah. First of all, there's one. It's Alhamdulillah. It's in English. It just means praise to God, like praise to God. And then Oh, so praise be to God, sorry. And then it's just like, when you say it's just like thanking Allah for the blessings or thanking Allah for whatever happened, just mentioning Allah, thanking Him. There's inshallah, it just means if Allah wills, and it's used when you're hoping something will happen or anything like that, you're basically giving it to Allah and like, when you say inshallah, you're just giving it to His hands and then you're just leaving it with Him, hoping He does the rest. And Allahu Akbar just means Allah is great. Bismillah, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. And then we use it in situations when we invite and welcome the blessings and the help from Allah. But it's good to use it before any actions. Before you shower, before you get dressed, before you start driving, before a test, before anything. You know what I mean? You just, for that exact situation,
I've been watering my plant, and the one that was dead, I say Bismillah, and it's come back to
Allah. You're asking Allah to bless the next action you're gonna do, if it's right.
That's insane. It's very cool. And there was a study I was telling Charlie about Bismillah. There's a Japanese scientist who studied the effect of cells after he said Bismillah to them, and like what changed in the structure of the cells, and he was absolutely astonished. I'll find the study. Yeah, it's subhanallah, it's incredible. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and the next one is like astaghfirullah. That just means seeking forgiveness from God. And then like, when something happens or you're having bad thoughts and stuff like that, you start repeating that and, inshallah, Allah will help you. And it's, one of them is La ilaha illallah. That means there is no God, Muhammadan Rasulullah. That just means, and this is last, and subhanallah. Up to me. And then, subhanallah is just Allah is perfect. And then it's used for situations where other people would think it's like a coincidence type stuff, where they think it's a natural wonder, like luck and stuff like that. Like something out of the ordinary, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. You say subhanallah, like, just what other people can consider coincidences. Because it was meant to happen at the exact moment, at the exact time. And since that thing happened and it made you remember Allah, it was meant to happen, if you get me.
SubhanAllah.
SubhanAllah.
Awesome. That was great. I'll just mention something which will probably get us banned everywhere, but the death toll in Palestine is up at least 70,000, including over 8,663 children. So if you could please make prayer or dua for a ceasefire, because there's they seriously need support for this level of suffering. It's absolutely
100%. I just want to add
indescribable.
one thing to that as well. I heard, and this is just speculation, I haven't confirmed it yet, but there should be something happening on along the lines of a ceasefire type thing, or
Yeah.
towards Monday. Look, but I doubt it, to be honest. I highly doubt it. Even if there is a
Oh, wow.
ceasefire or anything like that, I doubt they're really going to listen to it,
Yeah, well, they literally, ICJ, which is the International Court of Justice, just released a ruling for a ceasefire, but Israel has blanketly refused to comply with the ceasefire.
They've done this before.
Yeah, it's the second time there's been like some form of ruling that they've not been non-compliant with. But anyway, that's something entirely for a whole new episode, I suspect.
Just keep Palestine in your prayers, inshallah.
Yeah. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast, and I really appreciate your story and all of your insight from your background and from your own religion as well. It's really cool, and I think that you've raised some really excellent points throughout the podcast, so thank you very much. Sincerely appreciate your time and efforts. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Please make sure to follow us and give us a rating if you enjoyed the podcast. Also, please send any requests to the email in the channel bio.
Cheers. Thank you.
Nice.